I'm Scott Duncan-Fernandez with Somos en Escrito, here with Enrique C. Varela, the winner of the 2022 Extra Fiction Contest. Hi, Enrique. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Scott?
Doing pretty good. Maybe you could tell us more about yourself?
Yeah. Um, I'm the son of immigrant parents. I attended a community college, then I transferred to a UCSB. Um, what else would you like to know?
So where did your parents immigrate from?
Okay. My parents immigrated from Guadalajara, Jalisco,
Oh,
around the 70s, the 1970s. So they've been here for around 20 years already, or actually more than that. 50 years, I believe, now they've been here. So yeah, they acclimatized to the country pretty quickly.
so you often write on the Mexican American Chicano conditions. I mean, what really got you writing?
What got me writing was I used to read a lot of comic books, dude, and growing up poor, I never had money to go to the comic shop and actually buy them. So me and my friend decided to make our own comics. We just started writing them. We started drawing them, and that's what got me hooked on writing. As a little kid, I was in elementary school when I started writing the comic books.
Did you like from even the get-go, did you start putting like Mexicans in the comics? Because I remember like you used to never ever see any Mexican whatsoever, or anybody in a comic, unless it was from a comic from Mexico, like a
Yeah, I
luchador.
don't think I really did that. I think I just based it. It was mostly about superheroes because
Yeah.
I was into comic books, so we would just write about superheroes. Like we would put ourselves in the comics, like I was like Super Enrique, and like my friend Roberto was like Robo Roberto, you know. So like we just it was just for fun, obviously. But my parents, my teachers at that time didn't enjoy my writing. They would send me to the counselor because we would write some crazy stuff sometimes, like some violent stuff. And they were like, "Well, you're a little kid. You shouldn't be writing stuff like this." But it was just something that came to our minds, something that we like to do, you know. That's what got me. That's what got me hooked on writing.
So I saw like from your website and from your bios and whatnot that like you majored in film, and you actually have some like short films that you have on your site.
Correct. I have a couple short films. Yeah. Um, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be a screenwriter. But when I went to UCSB, I was deterred not to go back into film media. What is it? The film media studies or something like that. And I was just like, well, you know what? I'm just switching then because I switched majors, but not career. You know what I mean? I'm still writing screenplays once in a while when I don't have inspiration to write a short story. So
Do you see any difference in like the approach to screen other than like tab like between
yeah,
writing a screenplay and a short story?
yeah, a screenplay is more likely it's more in present tense, and it's directed for the director to easily read it.
Mhm.
And pause. Writing a short story is past tense. That's like the more accepted form. But I do like to write screenplays still. Like I still have the desire to be a screenwriter. I just I'm gaining traction in the short story game, so I'm gonna stick to the short story game for now.
Do you ever like do like one story and then like in the like have a screenplay version and a short story version like that?
I've been thinking about that. I have a screenplay called Loteria about somebody that's in a coma, and I was thinking about making it into a short story, but I just haven't came around to it because I am writing some other short stories as we're speaking. Well, not as we're speaking right now, but I'm I'm in the process of finishing them.
Actually, I watched that before we came on here. I really enjoyed it. Like
Yeah.
when the actor shouts "Loteria," I was like, all right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. Um,
I know
I should mention.
my
Sorry,
I'm sorry. My film professor said it made him feel high. Like watching
good.
Loteria, I was like, I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
So I mean, your wedding story, like Elotera, I mean that has and I read some of your other work as well. You speak um like Mexican culture comes through, and you speak on like figures like the elote woman, like elote seller. She seems to be connected spiritually somehow, or she has some kind of knowledge, right? And she's like
Yeah,
and for me,
she's
like
a.
go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I have a bad tendency of doing that.
don't worry about it. I was just going to mention at the end, to me, like she's doing what the like the community needs, right? The community, it needs healing. There's all this
Correct.
trauma that we got. The Elotera is giving them elote corn, right? And
Yeah.
that's helping them move on. And so this is something that's needed, and it's natural. And I think we got some indigenous like corn comes from here, like like issues coming in, like a
Yeah.
culture that's healing. And then the police come along and they get in the way of that. They make her go away. And so I'm saying like this is like our our condition, colonized condition is disrupting like what naturally could be like our community getting forward, right? Like healing itself.
No, yeah, you're correct. It encapsulates, it gets a little piece of the Latino life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it does. It has a lot of, honestly, it was inspired from the corn lady that comes around my complex. Because I was sitting around my computer and I just heard the horn going on. And I just heard all the people going around and like buying elotes. And I think it connects to culture because Latinos are so superstitious sometimes. Like my family believes in el Espíritu Santo, el cucuy, and like ghosts. And like I guess La Elotera is a curandera that allows them to rest because they've had such a hard life. Like I think one was a cholo, one Mr. Quinceañera, the other one was getting cheated on. So like all they wanted to do was find rest. They've had such a hard life. They've been discriminated against. So it was just something. That's just something I just thought of. Just something that came from my heart. That's basically it.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. It's your local Elotera that that got you that got you writing the story. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was trying to write it and she wouldn't shut up. She would just be with her little horn, like, okay, lady.
I mean, this is a little bit perpendicular, but have you heard of the elote man in L.A. that several years ago the some guy was shoving his cart over and coming at him, and he threw chili powder at his face. The
No,
elote man
I
too,
didn't hear about that.
and so he
Wow.
became like famous in L.A. Like for like this guy was was kind of like pushing his cart over, and so the elote man grabbed some chili powder and flung it at him.
Hey, hey, es para que se le quiten. That's what they get for fucking with them.
Yeah, for real. That's what everybody was saying, right? This has been a few years ago. Yeah, but he was
Okay.
he was famous for flinging. He was on video. He's flinging the powder at the guy.
Famous for defending himself.
Yeah, famous for defending himself. Yeah, but like what he did, he just flung a powder at him, and everyone's like laughing, because like
Yeah.
But yeah, but it worked out for him. People like someone built him a new cart in like souped up cart, so
Okay.
he made some
Nice.
sales. Yeah. So you like Elotera is not your own story. I mean, you've been working on like other work. You have a book in the works, right?
Correct.
Stories from Atlan.
Twisted Tales from a Cripple.
Twisted. Okay. So this a different? Is this a different work?
Yeah, this is a memoir.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, like I never thought I'd write a memoir because I'm kind of like I close myself out, and that was putting myself out there. But I guess it was kind of like therapy. I guess I had to let it all go because like I used to be a mess up before. I used to be a knucklehead, and I want people to see that even if you're a knucklehead, even if you messed up before, you can still correct your life and go ahead with everything and pursue your dreams. Just be who you're really supposed to be. be the being you're supposed to be.
So this is a memoir. It's in progress, right? You're still working on it?
No, it's already done. I'm waiting for my publisher to contact me again. They were
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to contact me on the, or they're going to contact me on the 15th.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
great. So
yeah.
what's the title again?
Twisted Tales from a Crip Hole.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, yes. I think I read about this. Like you have it somewhere on your site, right?
Correct. Yeah, I have a piece that I didn't include in it. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. So when's it going to be out? Do you know?
Fall 23. So fall this year, later
Oh,
on
that's
this
great.
year.
We'll
Yeah.
keep a lookout for it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I get some. Yeah, I hope so.
um let's see. So maybe you could tell us more about like so you used to be a knucklehead in this book. This is a
Correct.
it's just about like how
It's a coming of age story.
coming of age.
It's from when it's how I went from a wannabe to a tweaker to a cripple to a college graduate to working at Univision to like realizing who I was as a person. So it's it's I hope it's inspirational, but my writing style is kind of it's my writing style is a little weird, a little a little out there. So I hope people enjoy it. I hope it's not boring and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I guess it is what it is, like I say.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Um
Cool. Thank you.
Speaking of writing, like who are the writers that you kind of look to that you enjoy that you that kind of go into your work?
Yeah. Okay, I wrote them down because I freaking forget.
Same here.
Okay. For one, like the old school authors, I like John Steinbeck, Jose Luis Borges, Julio Cortázar. Somebody I really look for, I mean, I really like to read is Oscar Zeta Acosta, though he only did 2 writings. For modern authors, I like Victor Villaseñor. I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
Sounds familiar. Maybe not.
Yeah, he does a lot of memoirs. I like Ruben Degollado. He's a new artist, a new author. I like Luis Rodriguez and obviously Stephen King. But I gravitate towards anything Chicano, anything that's interesting. I guess I kind of judge a book by its cover a little bit. I guess like if it has something interesting, I'll pick it up. Or if I read a good review about it. So it doesn't have to necessarily be Chicano, but I prefer Chicano stuff.
I mean, it helps to see ourselves like our stories aren't like very often like put out there, right? Like you got to dig a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah, and I myself kind of think, you know, if I got to be interested in the like not that I have to force myself by any means, but like we have to be we have to be a good audience for our own culture, our own literature, you know, because
Correct.
you still see, you know, other people writing about us, and they get to be and they're the ones that get the big book deals, get the big go on TV, and you know, like TV will show, you know, TV movies, whatnot. They'll be set in LA and there's no Mexicans, which sounds like a joke, but it's still true, right? Like you don't see in the same way with books, and we only show up if it's they need someone scary, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, if it's a gangster or something.
Yeah, a gangster or something, and we're only and to this day that's how we're seen. Or what they're doing recently, I see a lot of like non-Chicano, non-Mexican authors in this guides of diversity. They'll put like kind of like I don't have a better way to put it. It'd be like a coconut, right? Like it's a white character with this kind of like outer shell, right, for diversity. And but it's not really from us, and so it really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it's a representation of us, but not accurately what we are.
Yeah, and so that kind of like, I mean, just, you know, like anyone could write whatever character or ethnicity they want, I think, but like it's just like they don't, it kind of shows again and again they don't know who we are, you know.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I like the books you mentioned. I mean, Oscar Acosta, I mean, there's all sorts of things that you learn. Like I like he wrote part of Brown Buffalo, I believe, in San Francisco. I never knew that until I moved here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a shame he disappeared, dude, because I used to like his writing style. It was pretty nutty, but I used to like it a lot, you know. Oh well. May he
So,
rest in peace.
yeah, may he rest in peace. A good lesson not to mouth off to gangsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but what do you so on the authors recently? What's your kind of thoughts on like because you put a lot of Mexican and Chicano culture into your work. Like, what are your kind of thoughts on? I mean, maybe the books that are out there, and like maybe and maybe you know like like how do our books reach our community? Maybe if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think the state of Chicano literature is in talented and good hands. I think it forces us to create a space in our head and our mind that's separated from the colonial structure they put us in. You know, like uh, I guess it's like a new space for us, like where we could tell our truths and where we could be ourselves without having to be all fake and stuff. You know, because when we try to be ourselves in the real world, people look at us bad, like, you know, like they don't like what they're seeing. You know, they're like inside the colonial structure, and that's what my writing's trying to do, is trying to break that mold of the colonial structure. You know, because that's messed up. You know, like we got colonized. What the hell? We're trying to break free of it. You know, and they don't let us break free from it sometimes, and it kind of does piss me off sometimes. You know, it kind of makes me mad. You know.
Do you think a lot of times the books that kind of make it through, they only kind of show I mean I don't mean this to be a leading question. They only show like certain looks of at Chicanos, right? Only certain like only
Certain
very
aspects.
yeah, certain aspects. I think we're big. We're like it's like anybody, right? Any group, we're a big group, but we only see certain little aspects of folks, right?
No, yeah. And I mean, it's imperative that we get our stories out there because we're gonna be the majority pretty soon. Y se van a chingar, man. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
get used to Mexicanos, you know, like, or Latinos, I should say, you know, like they're gonna have to get used to it. They have to get used to our stories, if they like it or not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Chicanos. Or that's the group that's going to be the largest. Yeah,
Okay, it's
yeah,
Chicanos, my
yeah.
bad.
Um,
I
but
was thinking everybody's immigrating over here.
well, there are gonna be other folks too.
Yeah,
They'll still be here.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but what? I mean, yeah, for myself, when I like read your work and I read other work by other like Chicanos and whatnot, I feel rather it's freeing, right? It's
yeah,
also
it
like
is.
yeah, it's also validating, right? Because they
Correct.
say
Yeah, that's a perfect word for it.
because I feel like they want you to be a certain way, like whoever however we are supposed to be bad, and they keep on
Yeah,
telling you this, and you see like other literature is not supposed to be anyone like you, right? And
yeah.
but then like you can see when people when we see these stories that they just want to I don't mean to go on about this, but like but it's something that um I don't know. It's a lot like your story, like Elotera, right? You get that cup of corn that helps you heal the wounds that you got from
Correct.
being in the just existing.
It's a resurgence of the heart and mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Um, so what kind of themes do you like? You think come up in your work, or you like to express? I mean, other than Chicanismo or whatnot.
Yeah. Um. Okay. I think I wrote this one too because, like, what themes come up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think it addresses? Like
Yeah. Well, obviously, like how you said it addresses Chicanismo, uh, identity, self-identity, um, and just Mexican stuff. I believe, you know, just stuff I'm in. Honestly, I write about stuff I'm interested in. So like, so like if it interests me, I'll write about it, you know, and I'll put my own little twist on it, my own little Chicano twist to it. Yeah, because like how you said, we're not visible. So whatever I see that's in the colonial structure, I twist it up and I make it into something Chicano, you know? Because I'm trying to relate to it. I'm trying to relate to it somehow. And that's how I relate to it. I twist it up, make it Chicano. You know, that's the only thing
So
I can
you
think
take
about.
the world in and you make it Chicano.
Yeah.
That's the most Chicano. That's the most Chicano thing I've heard all day.
No, yeah, because you have to be true to yourself, to
Yeah.
your heart, to your inside, Not like not give in to the colonial structure you're fucking placed in.
I mean, it makes me think of one of your stories. I think it's Chicano Janice. Is
Oh,
that the title?
okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it's about a young guy who really likes hot peppers, and he's on a search for hot peppers, and he finds something so hot that and he makes salsa out of it, that it makes him kind of transcendental, right? He can see the
Yeah,
past, the future, and the present all in one. And I was
yeah,
reading that, I'm like, I've been there. That happened to me, right? And
yeah.
I really liked it because he told his friends like, you guys are losers, basically, right? You guys got to change. This is going to
Yeah.
happen if you don't. So I really enjoy that because like this is
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I've been because I've been so hot where I had these hot peppers before where you just feel so in the
Man,
same
I felt high before. I
yeah,
felt
I feel
dizzy.
high.
Yeah, I felt dizzy. Like, what the hell?
I had some before where I had a curry of hot peppers where it kept me up all night and I felt like I was like stoned all night.
Yeah, damn.
I was like, these are just hot peppers. What's wrong?
Yeah. Never heard of these peppers before.
Yeah. Let's see. So you have a memoir coming out. You're working
Correct.
and you got a collection of stories that you're seeking to put out there. Do you have any
Yeah.
other work that's coming up that you're working on, or are you seeking to that's in
I'm
progress?
just writing short stories here and there, whatever the inspiration occurs, but arises. But as in like a big work like that, no, I don't have any other work. I'm busy with my baby. I just had a newborn baby. So like I'm just busy with her. Like she cries, I run over, well, I roll over there to her, like stuff like that.
Okay. Congratulations. That sounds great.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you. It was, I don't know if you see me, I'm in a wheelchair, so like it was totally unexpected when my vieja told me she was pregnant. It was like a miracle from God, honestly, because you know, because now I'm
Oh,
in a
that's not,
wheelchair.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. Um, I mean, you think I mean, for when it comes to your work, do you have I mean, can you see yourself writing any other kind of styles like you've done memoir and short stories? I mean, anything longer like a novel or what you done
Um,
you've done quite a lot screenplays. What we've done.
yeah. Um, okay, I guess I am working on a novel about about nail techs. Um, but I've just lost inspiration and I stopped working. I go work on it once in a while, but not really like I had with my short stories and my memoir. Kind of just kind of just let it marinate and then I go back to it. Yeah. But I am working on that. I haven't worked on a screenplay in a while. That one, that too, it's just marinated inside a Wix.
Hmm.
Same deal.
Do,
Yeah.
do you prefer short work?
I prefer short work. Yeah, I prefer short work because it's more to the point. Like people lose people lose concentration really quick. I graduated from UCSB. I have a writing minor, and I was taught how to write for web, and people's concentration only lasts like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then they stop reading. So I tend to write short stories, so they just get it over with. They get to the point, and then they go on by their day, go on, go on with their day. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. It comes to a point and you can like you can follow along really well when it's short like that. A couple
Yeah.
of your stories may remind me of like maybe the like just a few, right? Like a Chicano version of like Oh Henry or something, because like a guy goes up in line for in heaven, and I forget a few of them, but like they're kind of um some are like kind of everyman stories, right? You
Yeah,
know, like and they come to a point and they're kind of funny, right?
yeah,
I know a few, right? So yeah, I enjoy that aspect as well, like the shortness. It has this kind of like I'm like I said, oh Henry, but also this kind of mass appeal uh moment to it, like it is meant for everyone.
yeah. My UCSB professors would be upset at my writing style because they didn't like that writing style. They wanted me to write like all intellectual and stuff, But I'm thinking the normal person's not gonna understand it if I write like that. Like I have to connect with them, not like make them look up the word and stuff,
Yeah.
like so yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think a mix is good, and like like every story doesn't need to be this something like you can't understand, or you makes what I'm saying, like you get to a point and you're making people look at this, and and it's enjoyable, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I try not to make my writing so boring because I know people are gonna put it down if it's boring. Like I put down books when they're boring. I just put them down. Like, okay, I read a chapter, it sucks. I put it down.
I mean, it might come back around to Chicanismo too, because I mean, often like we get these books that are supposed to be good, and you're like so long, like going like to set everything up, and then and it's like,
Yeah,
what's this supposed to be about? I'm like 3 pages in, and
yeah,
then like you're not, and on top of that, you're not seeing anyone like yourself and all this other kind of thing, and then like, well, what like they tell me this is good, you know,
no, yeah,
so
it like
like
puts you off.
yeah, it puts
Puts
you
you
off,
off.
and yeah.
Yeah,
So I can get that, but I think this is a good. What you do is like I think you're trying to reach a Chicano audience and trying to tell their stories, and like it's more than visibility, but it's like you're trying to like engage people. Like I really
yeah.
appreciate that part.
I'm trying to reach the YA crowd in YA.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like people, like people that don't want to read, that don't think they like to read, hopefully they pick up one of my stories and read it, and then they decide, hey, I do like to read. Because that's how I used to be. I never wanted to read like any assignments at school or anything. I just wanted to read comics. I didn't want to read this boring stuff. But once I went to UCSB, I started reading Borges, Cortázar, and I knew they weren't boring and I liked it. So I decided to write stuff that isn't boring. Like, and my screenwriting history made me write in simple terms. So I just keep writing in simple terms, easy stuff to read.
yeah.
Besides reading comics, was when I went to Oxnard College, was the support from my professors, because I had wrote an essay for my English 1 professor, and he was like, "What? You wrote this yourself? This is good." And it gave me confidence. I was thinking, for real, you think it's good? Like I thought I was shit. I thought I couldn't write for nothing. And as I went through my classes, all my professors saw my writing ability, and they kept telling me, "Hey, dude, you can write. You can write. You should keep it up. You should keep it up." And when I went to UCSB, that's when I really got the affirmation. Like my professors, like they're like they're like beaming when I would give them my essays. Like, okay, like okay. And that's what really got me into writing, was their motivation, their inspiration, their push. Because I was just happy collecting SSI. Well, I still collect SSI, but I was just happy just chilling in my pen, not doing nothing, watching TV, not writing, whoop de whoop. But they really got me into writing. Their support, they saw me as a writer, not as a cripple, not as some Chicano cripple. They saw me as a writer, and that's what really got me going writing.
Thanks for being with us today, Enrique.
You're welcome.
Any final words?
Keep reading. Keep reading Somos en Escritos, and I will see you guys later. Keep it easy, everybody.
Take it easy.